No. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sandra Seidel, and I'm the chair of the ADA Accessibility Committee. Welcome to the May 20th, 2021 committee meeting. Would you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Staff, will you please take attendance?
Ms. Seidel?
Here.
Arizona? Jenkins?
Yep.
Luis Viero? And he sent his, sorry he couldn't attend. Ms. Smith can't attend.
Sorry, thank you. Should I do it again? Carmen Lebu? Gloria Mills?
Here.
Did I hear Miss Lebu? Scott Clark?
Here.
Corinne, oh, and we have, for Miss Levy? And could you state your name for the record?
Samantha Gwaltney.
Thank you. Raquel Pancho? Thank you.
Okay. Since we don't have a quorum present, we're going to table the minutes of the February 18th, 21 meeting until the next time. Next on our agenda is Mr. Justin Willits, with the Service Development Team, and he'll speak about the upcoming HART service changes. Mr. Willits?
Hello, this is Justin Willits. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Please.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I just want to give a brief overview of the upcoming June service changes and give you an idea of what we're endeavoring to do. This will be rather quick, and then we can take any questions you may have. Next slide. So one of the primary things we are doing with this service change is getting back to our service standards and really looking at where ridership is after a tumultuous year and aligning our service levels with the demand we see across the transit network. And what our service standards do is they dictate the level of frequency we should basically put on each route based on the number of riders per revenue hour of service on those routes. And what that translates to is routes with 15 riders per hour or more warrant 30-minute service for a bus every 2 buses an hour or better, depending on how many riders per hour greater than 15 they have. And what this allows us to do is align our demand appropriately and then to maximize our resources so that we have aligned the amount of service on the road with the amount of passengers on the vehicles, but also looking at how many operators we have available to make sure that we can successfully put that service on the road on a day-to-day basis. And what that translates to is the proposal for our service for next month that's being implemented. And we can go to the next slide. For those of you able to see the slide, on the left is our current service map with frequency dictated by color. And then the bullets on the right are representative of the changes we'll be implementing next month. Route 12 is one route that will be going from 20-minute service, which is 3 buses per hour, to 30-minute service, which is 2 buses per hour. And then there are several routes that were below that previously described threshold of 15 passengers per hour that are not seeing the ridership to warrant that. I believe someone needs to mute. Thank you. And then, so those routes The additional routes on the right on the second grouping are routes that are not warranting that 30-minute service at this time, and we are adjusting that service from 30 to 60 minutes. And there, that I can list the routes for you. That would be routes 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 19, 30, 31, 32, 36, and 37. They are averaging about 9 boardings per service hour, which is 6 under the 15 threshold, which is what we outline in our service standards. Next slide. So our communication plan for this effort, we're posting patron notices. We've provided notifications to the media. We've posted social media updates. We've posted to our website. We've done radio advertisements. We've posted information on board buses and provided audio announcements and advertisements. We're putting posters at all of our transfer centers, alerting one bus away. We're putting printed schedules at the transit centers, and we've got customer service automated messages running, and we've also we are also putting out newspaper ads. Next slide. And that is a wrap. That should say questions. I apologize, it's not coming through the screen, but I can take any questions or comments at this time.
Mr. Willett, this is Sandra Seidel. What's the effective date for these changes?
It is June 19th.
June 13th.
13th,
I'm sorry, 13th.
June 13th.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from committee members? If not, thank you, Mr. Willets.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too. Next on our agenda is my chairman's report. First of all, I'd like to thank Yellow Cab and HART following my accident. They kept calling me, emailing me, praying for me, and I really, really appreciate it, and I want to thank all of you. It really boosted my spirits. Also, I'd like to comment, I was so against the Flamingo when we first heard about it a couple years ago. I am now using it. I'm a great fan of it, and let's keep it up, and I hope everybody can go to that because it's a fantastic idea. The only negative comment I have right now, now that I'm starting to ride the buses again, a lot of times the automated announcements aren't being made, nor do the drivers make the announcements. I've only had one driver that, and this is like early morning, between like 8 and 10, and especially I take Route 38, that actually makes the announcements. But I'd like to see that be across the board again, where if it's not going to be, the PA announcements, that the drivers make the announcements. Next on the agenda, Mr. Bracken will give us an update on HART Plus and Customer Choice Voucher programs. Mr. Bracken?
I wanted to comment on your 80 announcements. That is a mandate for our operators. If the system is not working, they are required by law to make those manually, and we'll work with our transportation manager to make sure those are taking place. So, we have started to pick back up on HART Plus. Our ridership continues to grow. We've been running around the 500 mark for the last month. We are now peaking out a little over 600 trips on our peak days, which is Wednesdays and Fridays. For the last month, we did a total of 11,706 trips. And during that time frame, we made our pickups at 91.44% on time. And to our appointments, we are 99.49% on time, getting people to where they need to be, to work, to doctor's appointments, or whatever the case may be. So our goal is 90%. We definitely want to exceed that, and we are on the appointments, but we're trying to work on that scheduling time to get that increased up as well. Yellow Cab continues to struggle with employees. I have talked to them several occasions. Just like the restaurants and everything else, there's just nobody knocking on their door to come in to work. So they're struggling to keep on the road what they do. We continue to monitor them, and they are still held to our standards of on-time performance, and they do receive penalties when they exceed our time limits. So I continue to get with them. Brandon has been an ongoing issue of availability of cars out there, so they have promised me that they're going to get some more vehicles out into that area. But that they are facing the same employment issues as everybody else. So hopefully the tide will turn here in the next couple of months, and we'll get people back to work and keep that going. So that's all I have.
Next on the agenda, Ms. Green will update us on action items and membership applications and candidate selections.
Good afternoon. One of the items I was going to mention actually was what you just brought up, Sandra. Our IT team is actually working with our service development team, and they've been going out and writing all the routes and checking the different announcements. So it's a project we actually got a couple of volunteers, and they just decided to help us out with that, and they're going out, and actually we have folks that are actively writing and checking the announcements as well on that end. So it should be getting a lot better. But thanks for always bringing these items up to us. The next item is the election. We do have one open position. Unfortunately, today we don't have quorum, so we won't be able to vote. But all the applications were in the packets that were sent to you. So what we can do is, for our next meeting, we can invite all 5 candidates to come and speak to the committee and give a really brief presentation, and we can move forward with the selection in our next meeting. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brown will give us a bus stop updates. Mr. Brown?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dwayne Brown. I'm project manager with the Project Management Office. I am the Basic Transit Infrastructure Program Manager, and today I'm going to give you an update on some of the projects that we've been working on. Next slide, please. I'm going to be going over a total of 14 projects that Basic Transit Infrastructure has been doing over the past 3 months or so. We have about 14 projects right now. 6 projects we've completed, 3 projects that are currently in construction. We have 2 projects that are waiting for bidding, 1 project in permitting, and then 2 projects that are in design. Next slide, please. This is a brief overview of the area where we'll be covering, where the projects are located, just to give you an idea of the coverage of the area where we're working at right now. Next slide, please. The 6 projects that we completed, I briefed them during the last meeting, during the last ADA meeting, and Orient Road, Estall Road, that's up in Carrollwood. Orient Road at the State Fairgrounds, that's over by the Florida State Fairgrounds. 22nd and Hillsborough and 22nd and 28th Street, those are in the heart of the Route 12. Tampa and Fortune Street, that's downtown. And then Lumsden at Providence Road, that was in Brandon, where we completed. Next slide, please. We have 3 projects that are currently in construction. The pictures here, this is State Road 60 at Strawberry Ridge. You can kind of see a little bit of the construction that's going on out there right now. I was out there today. They're getting ready to pour the sidewalk today and tomorrow. So we should have a sidewalk in there probably next week, a functional sidewalk, and then they're going to pour the landing pad and the shelter pad in the coming week. Next slide, please. Dale Mabry at Kennedy, another one that was right there at the CVS, right in front of the CVS. We have lowered that so that it can accommodate, so that we can use the shelter pad again. They poured the concrete for it yesterday. I will have some pictures for you guys. I don't have the pictures. It was a little bit too late for that, but they poured the concrete for that, and it looks pretty good right now. So probably about another, maybe by the end of next week, it'll be ready to go on that one. Next slide, please. This is the construction project at 22nd and Henry Avenue, right in front of the Grace Point Medical. This project was actually brought to us by Grace Point. They came to HART and said that they wanted to add a shelter to the stop that's on the left right there in the stream. We weren't able to put it there because of constraints of, if we put it there, it would be in the line of sight. So we're going to move that. We're going to move that shelter pad down and move it back so that we can get a shelter in there. They have a lot of patrons that use that bus stop, and because of where it sits in the sun, and we're trying to get them more comfortable and get them out of the sun there. And so we're also going to fix the one that is this complement stop right in front of the facility. We're going to raise that up to where, so that the bus doesn't. Right now it's at grade, which means it's flat. So we're going to raise it up 6 inches so that the bus, when it lowers its ramp, so that the patrons can get up on the bus more easily. Next slide, please. We have a couple of projects that are waiting bid right now. Yukon at 20th Street, that's right there at Rolette Park. And we're going to be doing a Rome at Hillsborough Avenue. That one is, we're going to be doing complement stops there, right in front, right on the edge of the Crosswinds Church, that's right there. And the one that's across the street there, we're going to be putting shelter pads on there so we can add shelters to those stops. Next slide, please. We have a project that's in permitting right now. It's going to be at Armenia and Hillsborough. We've been going back and forth with CVS to get an easement so that we can put a shelter at this stop as well. Next slide, please. We have projects that's in design right now. Causeway Boulevard near Highway 301. This one has been in progress. We have to do an environmental survey because there's a huge drainage ditch that's right there, and we're trying to figure out what will be the environmental impact of us putting a shelter pad right there and moving back that drainage ditch. And so that's what the holdup is on this one. And then Hillsborough at Orient Road, that's the one that was briefed last time. One of the ADA members from the community came out and asked about, and so that one is currently in design for us to fix that one. Next slide, please. You have any questions?
I've got a comment on the Kennedy Avenue stop. I just want to let everybody know that came from a suggestion of one of our patrons originally. The stop used to be back by Lindell Honda, and all of our patrons were missing that connection with the 36 and the 30. So we moved that stop back to the CVS at a suggestion of one of our patrons, and this is a development of that stop to make it more accessible for everybody else. So just letting everybody know that we are listening in to our customers, and we are trying to make the connections that we can for them with those that have the challenges of getting to the stops in an accessible manner. So, but thank you for his suggestion.
All right. That's all I have now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown.
You're welcome.
We have two new people here today. Is it Gwaltney? I'm sorry, I mispronounced it. Would you like to speak to us?
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Samantha Gwaltney, and I'm with McDonald Training Center. I'm sitting in for Karen Levy, my CEO, and we're just thankful to be able to have the opportunity to be here and to add input and make sure that we're supporting HART and the ADA compliance. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have Ms. Legrand, who is the CEO of HART, who is joining us today.
Hello, thank you, nice to meet everyone, and just enjoying being here, finally being able to be in person, even with our masks, but at least we're in the same space physically, so good to see you all, and looking forward to making sure that we work with you to make the improvements that are necessary to make your commute as, I would say, easy to traverse as possible, as well as comfortable as possible. So looking forward to working with you and hearing some great solutions to any challenges that we may have. So thank you.
Would everybody who is listening or here in person, would you please mark your calendars for our next meeting, which is August 19th, 2021, 3 o'clock, here at the conference room at HART at 1201 East 7th Avenue here in Tampa.
Another area was about the flamingo card. Is the HART Plus gonna be using that?
No, at this time, in this phase of the project, HART Plus wouldn't be accepting flamingo payments.
Okay.
However, one thing that has come up through the call center is now organizations such as Sunshine Line is getting ready to provide a flamingo cards to their customers. So some of our HART Plus customers ride the bus, so they can definitely still get a card, but we're not accepting the payment quite yet on the HART Plus vans.
And I was in a meeting earlier with your travel trainer, David. He said that the flamingo card goes on your credit card. Some people don't have credit cards. How will they be able to put the money on the card?
They can come to the transit center, so the question is, how can people who do not have credit cards put money on the Flamingo card? So they can come to the transit centers, and we can help them at the transit centers, at the customer service windows. They can help them with that too. They can bring cash or a card, or, in any other way, and do it
So
themselves.
there is a way to put money on the card without
Yes.
using the bank.
Yeah, without using a credit card, they can come to a transit center and use cash and put money on the account.
In Arizona, we are looking for funding to get those on the paratransit vehicles as well. So that is in the works, and we're trying to get it across the fleet, the entire fleet. Dwayne?
Yes, also too, the PMO has been testing, and also they also can go to Amscots and 7-Elevens, and where you can load cash onto credit card, onto the Flamingo cards.
Do what?
You can go to Amscot or 7-Eleven and load your and load cash onto the Flamingo cards.
Oh, okay.
But that isn't set up yet, right? That's kind of coming up in a few months?
No, it's set up.
Oh, it's set up already?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
If you go to one of these check cashing places to put money on the Flamingo card, are they going to charge you extra like they do with passes?
No, ma'am, they will charge you, if you're getting a regular Flamingo card, if you're getting the first one, like, they'll charge you $3 for the card, and then you have to put a minimum of $5 on the card, and you can go up to $250. But there's no tax, or there's no fee or anything like that with it.
You ever had a card there, or you?
Yes, they have the cards there, available there to purchase.
Okay.
And keep in mind, if you get the card now, you don't have to pay those $3, because we still have that offer going on, that we're giving them out for free right now.
Okay, we're going to move on into the roundtable discussion. Who's the one that did webmail?
I don't know if Gloria's still online, so you want to see.
Gloria, are you still there?
You might want to check if Raquel
Gloria is here, but she's talking to the doctor's scheduler right now, and she'll be back in a minute. She's listening in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nobody?
No, she's not
You
there.
don't want to check out
Okay.
the bills.
Scott, do you have anything?
Good afternoon, everyone. Scott Clark, Hillsborough County Sunshine Line. And I always try and start conversations and discussions on a positive note, so it's something I'm trying to improve myself with. And it's one of my philosophies, but a lot of times I fail at that. But let's start things off with a positive note. I would like to compliment Kemley and Greg for this recent transition when the bus routes changed. They were foreseeing and taking care of the customers. They communicated with Sunshine Line, letting them know that there's a large number of clients that they would no longer be able to serve. And of course, as we're coordinated, not duplicated, then they should fall over into the Sunshine Line realm. So we were able to, Kemley communicated with those clients saying, yep, they would no longer be able to serve them. They would have to go to Sunshine Line, but we were already ready for them. Right when that communication went out, we were already calling them and making that connection, getting their eligibility, so they had a smooth transition with no gaps in service. And then vice versa, as those lines change, our clients then fall in and become ADA clients, and we were able to do the same thing but on the opposite way. Now we know eligibility takes a little bit longer through ADA because all the criteria, but we got authorization from the TD Commission to give a buffer window where we can still service and do trips until that eligibility was approved. So smooth transition on both sides, phenomenal coordination, and I thank you both for that.
Thanks, Scott.
You're welcome. Thank you, Scott.
So now, not negative, but just, we were talking about Flamingo. So this is just regular stuff, business as usual kind of stuff. So with the Flamingo, what we're noticing on the organization side is when we're batch loading, if there's an error in the data, maybe 50 clients or something or 100 clients that we're loading up, it doesn't identify which account has the error. So we can't just pull that one and fix it. So that can be problematic. We're still in the testing phase, so we got a lot of time. I just wanted to bring that up. And then there's also another problem. If the client has a debt on the account, I guess if there's no funds and they still ride, it goes into a negative balance for $2 and change. If they're in that status, we can't load their next monthly bus pass until that's paid. So meaning that they can't get service. And a lot of our clients, you know, that $2.50, they might have, or however much it is, they don't have that. So that's another issue that came up during this testing phase. And I know Karen's working on it. I just wanted to bring it up to you guys. And other than that, it's going very smooth. We're really looking forward to this because the positive on that, think about our homeless community, where before we mail our bus passes to their home address. Well, where are we going to mail it for homeless? That was always a problem. Now, once they get established, we can load their cards. They have it there. So I think that's also a plus and a good benefit for the Flamingo project.
And they'll have it right away, so that's going to be great.
I know.
We get calls all the time because they think we're the ones mailing it out, like, my passes haven't arrived yet, so that's going to be great for them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be wonderful. We've been waiting a long time for this.
We've been
Now
waiting a
it's
long
finally
time for
happening.
Yes, yes.
So I think it's going to be technology, so that's a good thing. Hopefully, we can get some reports back, which will really help us, you know, how many trips are our clients taking, which helps in our annual operating report to the state, which also helps dictate our funding. So that'll be good once we can get those reports too. But thank you guys very much for being so innovative.
You're welcome.
That's
And
it.
with the errors, you guys are working with Emmanuel Nunez, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So
Yeah.
he's aware of those?
Karen and him at work, but those are some big things. If we can't get those fixed, you know, that there may be a delay in going live, at least for us, and we can't have a gap in service, so we'd have to still do paper until those issues are worked out.
I'll follow up with him as well to see where that's going.
Now, how did you get, how did they get behind? If the money gone, they can't ride.
How did they get behind?
It allows you, if you don't have the whole fare on there when you tap on the bus, it will go ahead and let you ride, but it's going to put a negative balance on your card. So the next time you load the card, it'll take that balance that you owe for the last trip away from what you credit on the thing. So it's not going to leave you stranded out there. It's going to let you do your trip, but the next time you load that card, you got to make up the difference that you were short from the
So I
previous.
did have a credit card. When you pay your credit card, you gotta pay your balance, and then,
Yep, yep,
That's a good safety feature too,
Yeah.
so you're not stranded.
yep.
All right, this concludes the meeting of the HART ADA Accessibility Committee. This meeting is adjourned.